to my class. Yesterday I have given you the words meaning. I hope you have learned that, and I have also given the preview, or let's say overview of the reading or unit. Then after that we are going to study, or we are going to start reading India's battle to ban chewing tobacco. I hope you have learned the words meaning. That will help you much better to understand the lesson. So let's begin the lesson. In September 2010, Mahadev Prasad Sharma, a potato and onion vendor from the eastern Indian state of Bihar, was diagnosed with stage 4 mouth cancer in Mumbai, where he went for surgery. The central portion of his lower jaw was removed. So here is the story, you can say, or description about Mahadev Prasad Sharma. So this story is actually, this is the real story, but keep in mind. And in September 2010, what happened? Mahadev Prasad Sharma, who is Mahadev Prasad Sharma? He is potato and onion vendor. Vendor means seller. So Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he is a potato and onion seller or potato and onion vendor, and he is from the eastern state of Bihar. So he is, he is from Bihar, and Bihar is in eastern India. Okay, so Bihar is in eastern India, so we call it eastern Indian state of Bihar. Okay, so repeating again, in September 2010, Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he is a potato and onion vendor seller from the eastern Indian state of Bihar, and he was diagnosed meaning identified problem or disease. So Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he had a disease, and that he had a disease, or he had the problem. What problem? With the stage 4 mouth cancer. So we say na, stage 1, stage 2, or final stage. So he had cancer. What cancer? Mouth cancer. Who? Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he had mouth cancer, and he was diagnosed. He had disease, or he had identified problem, cancer, and he was in 4th stage of mouth cancer. So he was living in Bihar, and he went to Mumbai. It's written in Mumbai, where he went for surgery. So he went to Mumbai for his surgery. Surgery means operation. So Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he was living in Indian state, eastern Indian state of Bihar. From Bihar, he went to Mumbai for his surgery or for his operation. There, the central portion of his lower jaw was removed. Central portion, okay, the central portion of his lower jaw was removed. So operation was successful, but what happened after that? Less than 3 years later, okay, it was not complete 3 years, but less than 3 years later, the cancer returned, the mouth cancer returned, or the cancer he had that returned. And this time, the cancer was as 2 marble sized. You know the marble, okay? So the cancer was 2 marble sized, and that cancer was yellowish in color. It's written yellowish lumps, okay? Yellow in color, and lump meaning small hard swelling inside his mouth. Okay, inside his mouth, it's written inside of his left cheek. Okay, there was yellowish lump or yellow colored small hard swelling inside of his left cheek. When his surgeon, okay, the doctor, when I say surgeon, so he is a doctor, keep in mind. Okay, so the one who does surgery, we call that surgeon. Okay, so we can also say we will call surgeon as doctor here, keep in mind. So I will not repeat surgeon again and again, so I will say doctor. So Pankaj Chaturvedi, who is a surgeon, who is a doctor, he told him that the only treatment was another surgery. So there was only one treatment for that cancer, for his mouth cancer, and that treatment was another surgery, another operation. And this time Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he was 57 years old. When Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he heard from the doctor that the only treatment was another surgery. So this time, 57 years old man, he started sobbing, he started crying. Okay, sobbing means sob means a sudden cry. So 57 years old man, he started sobbing, he started crying. He asked who? Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he asked for the operation to be put back a month. So Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he requested to the surgeon, he requested to Pankaj Chaturvedi, to the doctor, to put back the operation for a month. Why? As his daughter was studying for her computer course exams and he didn't want to give her the bad news. Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he requested, or he asked the doctor to put back a month the operation, because his daughter was studying for computer course exam. And let's say his daughter had computer course exam, and that is why Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he didn't want to give her daughter the bad news, so that he requested to the doctor to put back the operation for a month. Now, what happened? Mr. Sharma's cancer is caused by chewing canny. Now, Mr. Sharma, let's say Mr. Prasad, Mahadev Prasad Sharma, he had cancer. The cancer was caused to him, it's because he was chewing canny. Now let's see what is canny. A mixture of tobacco and lime that is popular in Bihar. So what is canny? Canny is a mixture of tobacco and lime. The mixture of tobacco and lime, that is called canny. And this canny is very popular in Bihar, in the state of Indian state of Bihar. And Mr. Chaturvedi says like that this is very popular. Canny is very popular in the state of Bihar, and most of the people from let's not say most of the people, but there are people who consume or who chew canny, and that is why they are caused with this disease, which is called cancer. Now, Mr. Chaturvedi, who is he? He is associate professor. Now, here I want to stop for a second. I just want to clarify it to you. Now, here is the word Mr. Chaturvedi, associate professor. So we know professor and we also know assistant professor, but here is written associate, not assistant, but it's written associate professor. So here I want to tell you something about associate professor. Now, an associate professor is a mid-level professor. See, associate professor is a mid-level professor. He is not assistant professor, he is not professor, but he is mid-level professor. Okay, it genuinely happens that a person has to be assistant professor and then associate professor, and then after giving service for 6 years, approximately 6 years, associate professor can become the full-time professor or full professor. So Mr. Chaturvedi was not assistant professor, but he was associate professor. He had little higher post than it is little higher post or position than the assistant professor, but he is not full professor. Okay, so he is mid-level professor, we can say. So Mr. Chaturvedi, he is assistant professor and head and neck surgeon. See, Mr. Chaturvedi is associate professor or mid-level professor, and he is also head and so Mr. Chaturvedi, he is assistant professor and head and neck surgeon. See, Mr. Chaturvedi is associate professor or mid-level professor, and he is also head and neck surgeon. Who? Mr. Chaturvedi. And then he is working as a doctor, or he is a neck surgeon or head and neck surgeon at Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai. So keep in mind, he is a associate professor, and he is also head and neck surgeon at Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai. Now, according to the World Health Organization Global Adult Total Survey of 2009 and 10, according to that, around 14% of Indian adults smoke cigarettes and BDs. What is BDs? Hand rolled cigarettes. But nearly 26% use smokeless tobacco. Means they do not smoke, but they use tobacco, or they consume tobacco, including chewing tobacco, according to the Government of India and World Health Organization Global Adult Tobacco Survey of 2009 and 10. I want to repeat it again. According to the Indian Government of India and World Health Organization Global Adult Tobacco Survey of 2009 and 10, around 14% of Indian adults, they use smoke cigarettes and BDs. What is BD? Here, hand rolled cigarettes. They are called BDs. And nearly 26% use smokeless tobacco. 14% Indian adults, they use smoke cigarettes, and 26% the Indian adults, they use smokeless tobacco, okay, including chewing tobacco. Now, approximately means around 85% of the oral cancer patient I treat. Mr. Chaturvedi said that 85% approximately, or around 85% of the oral cancer patient I treat are either smoker or tobacco chewers. Okay, 85% of the patient whom Dr. Chaturvedi treats or do treatment, they are smokers or tobacco chewers. So that is why they are caused, or they are having the oral cancer. And then he also says, after years of treating thousands of patients, he is treating for long time, for so many years he is treating to the patient, and he says, I decided to take action. What action he decided to take? To stop people from using a substance that is proven to cause cancer. He decided, Dr. Chaturvedi, he decided to stop people from using a substance or any kind of substance that is proven to cause cancer. Who said like this? Surgeon. Who is surgeon? Mr. Chaturvedi. And then he says, he launched, further on it is written, he launched a campaign. What is campaign? Planned activity. So he planned all about the campaign or activity. So he started planned activity, he launched a campaign, and he gave the name to that campaign, or the planned activity, he gave a name to that. And then he said, what he called to that planned activity or campaign, he said, Voices of Tobacco Victims in 2008. So that was the name given to it. Okay, so he launched a campaign called Voices of Tobacco Victims in 2008 to advocate for more stringent, okay, here is the word, stringent means strict, okay. So he launched a campaign or planned activity, and he gave the name Voices of Tobacco Victims in 2008. And here he strictly, decided to control tobacco in India. Strictly he decided to stop or control tobacco in India. Now, the campaign empowers cancer patient survivors to tell their stories, to influence policymakers and raise awareness among other tobacco users about the damaging effect of tobacco on health. Now, it is further written. Now, Dr. Chaturvedi or Mr. Chaturvedi, who is a surgeon, he has launched a campaign, he has started a planned activity, and he has given to that name to that, and the name is Voices of Tobacco Victims. Okay, now here what he does, he has started he has started the campaign, but what he is doing in order to empower it, or in order to make it is strong, what he has done, he has taken support of cancer survivors. Now, survivors meaning those who continue to live, the people or the patient who are already having cancer, who are also already having cancer. To Dr. Chaturvedi, he take their help, and what he does, in order to make it strong, in order to build it, what he has done, he has taken support of the cancer survivors who join the doctors, and what they do, they tell their stories in order to influence them, or we can say, in other words, in order to raise awareness among the people who use tobacco. And the cancer survivors, they tell the damaging effect of tobacco on health. Now, what happened to it, what genuinely happens, if a doctor gives suggestion, or if doctor tells to the people the damaging effect, or the negative effect of the tobacco, people, what they do, they listen, but they do not follow. Okay, they never follow it. Why? Because they think that the doctor's job is only to give consultation and the treatment, that is their job, so they do not take it seriously. Even the doctor, he himself is suggesting them, giving them warning, and also telling them the negative effect, damaging effect of tobacco, but they do not take it seriously. But what happened, in order to empower it, the doctors, they have taken the help of the cancer survivors. Now, the cancer survivors, what they do, they themselves go to the campaign, and they speak to the people about the damaging effect of tobacco. Why? Because if they do so, the people who are listening, or the tobacco users who are using the tobacco, they will see the cancer survivors, how their body, how their mouth and other parts of their bodies are affected. When they will see and listen stories of them, so they will really feel it, and they will try to stop the uses of the tobacco. Now, the campaign's greatest success has been to ban the manufacture, storage, distribution and sale of gutka, a form of chewing tobacco commonly consumed in India. Now, the greatest success of this campaign was that the manufacture, storage and distribution and sale of gutka was banned. It was banned where? In India. Okay, so what was the greatest success of this campaign? The greatest success of this campaign was that the manufacture, storage, distribution, sale of gutka was banned. Okay, now the chewing tobacco commonly consumed in India, so it was consuming in India, so it was banned, and it is the greatest success of this campaign. Which campaign? Voices of Tobacco Victims in 2008. Let's move on. The opportunity to advocate for the gutka ban arose with the Food Safety and Standard Act of 2011. We can also make it short, and we can call it FSSA. Okay, Food Safety and Standard Act of 2011, under which the central government prohibited the use of tobacco and nicotine as ingredients in any food product. Now, Food Safety and Standard Act of 2011, sorry, 2011, the central government of India has prohibited, or let's say banned, okay, stopped the uses of tobacco and nicotine as ingredient in any food product. Okay, so the central government has prohibited or banned the uses of tobacco and nicotine as ingredient in any food product. Now, gutka is also, it is added as the food product, so that according to the central government, it should any food product should not contain any ingredients or anything that is injurious to health. but here in gutka we can see the nicotine and tobacco, which is harmful for the body. It is injurious to the health. Now gutka is crushed preparation of tobacco and pan masala, a mixture of areca or betel nut, sugar, spices and perfume. So here is the question. The question is, what is gutka? So here is the answer. Gutka is crushed preparation of tobacco and pan masala, a mixture of areca or betel nut, sugar, spices and perfume. Move on. Under the FSSA, full form is Food Safety and Standard Act. Okay, gutka can be categorized, or gutka is categorized as a food product, and therefore it should not contain substance injurious to health. Any food product should not contain the substance which is injurious to health, like tobacco. Move on. The implementation of the FSSA lies with the health minister of each state. So FSSA, Food Safety and Standard Act of 2011, it lies, or it depends on the state government, okay, whether they want to implement it or not. Okay, so Voices of Tobacco Victim directed its effort to have the gutka ban implemented as state legislature, and in April 2012 Madhya Pradesh became the first Indian state to ban, said Mr. Chaturvedi. Now Mr. Chaturvedi, he said that in India, Madhya Pradesh became the first Indian state to ban gutka in April 2012. But keep in mind, it depends on the state government whether they want to implement the rule or not. But keep in mind, Madhya Pradesh became the first Indian state to ban gutka. Move on. With the support of other doctors and cancer survivors, he launched similar campaign. Similar campaign was launched by the doctor, or let's say Mr. Chaturvedi. He took the help of other doctors and other cancer patients or survivors, and he launched a similar campaign, and they filed litigation. Let's say public interest litigation. Litigation means, I have told you yesterday, process of fighting case in a court. So they filed a case in a court in other states and in union territories. This month, in 2012 only, Karnataka became the last Indian state to ban the manufacture and sale of gutka illegal. Okay, so first Indian state was Madhya Pradesh, and last Indian state was Karnataka, and Karnataka also banned the manufacture and sale of gutka and declared it as illegal.